Hi everyone, thank you for joining me this Tuesday for our Vinyasa class. Just a few quick announcements to start with. You've probably seen if you follow the studio on social media that we have a teacher training starting in August. We've also got a retreat in September, and we've got a Yoga Nidra special coming up, and all of the details for those can be found on the website. The Nidra special event is going to be done remotely, so that's for anyone to join. I highly recommend it. Yoga Nidra, if you haven't done it with Ashley, is a great way to help you get some more restful sleep. For today's practice, we're going to be starting in a comfortable seated position, or you can actually lie down if you prefer. I'm going to be doing this sitting up, and we're just going to start by closing our eyes. So I'll let you go and get ahead and get comfortable. If you're seated, sitting nice and tall, straight spine, let's close our eyes. Start to notice your breath. Let's rest our awareness on our nose, closing our mouth. See if you can feel the subtle flow of the air coming in and out. Maybe you can feel your nostrils moving a little bit as the air moves in and out. You might notice the temperature of the air as well. Is it cool, warm? You might notice a sensation as it's touching your nose hairs on the way in or out. On your exhale, you might be able to feel the air passing over your top lip. Notice the sensation if you do. Let's follow the air a little bit further. Maybe you can feel it moving down your throat. Passing past the back of your throat. In and out. Notice how it flows. Maybe like the gentle waves in an ocean. In and out. Keep following it here. And then maybe you can follow the breath a little bit further. It goes down your throat, into your lungs. You can feel your lungs filling, expanding as you breathe in. And then decreasing as you release the air from your lungs. Back through your throat and out through your nostril. Inhaling through your nose, past your throat, filling your lungs. Feel your diaphragm expanding. Maybe your belly's expanding outwards. And then notice how everything contracts gently to help move the air out. The diaphragm is relaxed. Start to bring our awareness back into the space that you're in. Breathing easily, comfortably. If you're in a reclined position, I'll give you a moment to roll on your side and slowly come into a seated pose. Maybe if you're sitting on a cushion, I'd like to go ahead and move that away now. We're going to take our left fingers, placing them on the mat just beside us, kind of creating a cone. Sitting nice and tall. Inhaling, let's sweep that right arm up and over to the side, reaching out towards the left side of the space that we're in, opening up the right rib cage, creating space in the side of our body there. Maybe we'll lift our gaze upwards without straining our neck. Let's inhale, rising tall, switching sides. Let's take those right fingers, creating a cone on the mat. Inhale, open up that left side, waking up our body. Some of you may have already moved a bit today, or some of you might be just getting a chance to move your body. Inhale, rising up. One more time, switching sides, left fingertips on the mat, right hand sweeps up and over, nice and long. Inhale as we rise up, switching sides, right fingertips on the mat, the left hand sweeps up and over. Inhale, rising up. Let's go ahead and drop the chin down to the down to our chest. Just opening up the back of our neck, the shoulders. See if you can pull those shoulders away from the ear while we're looking down. Maybe you can feel the shoulder blades pulling together, pulling the shoulders down. Let's inhale, lift up, looking up towards the ceiling, gently opening the front of our neck. Exhale, dropping that chin again. Shoulders are away from the ears. And let's drop down our left ear to our left shoulder. Roll it around to the right side, right ear to right shoulder. Again, dropping that chin, rolling it around left ear to left shoulder, and rise back up. We're going to do a couple of our wrist stretches today to start as well. So let's take that right hand. We're going to shoot it out forward. And then while we're here, pull that shoulder blade back into the socket so that you are not stretching and reaching too far with your arms. So the arms out, fingers are flexed, shoulder back in the socket. Fingers are flexed. Let's rotate that hand clockwise. So our fingers are coming out to the side. See if you can bring that downwards. You'll feel the stretch in your arm. We're going to gently pull on our fingers. Let's grab our pinky finger first. Give it a gentle pull downwards. Next, we'll grab our index finger, our ring finger, pulling that downwards. Middle finger, downwards. Checking that shoulder's in the socket. Index downwards. Gently release. Let's rotate that hand backwards. So our thumb is pointing down now. Thumb, gentle pull. release. Give that arm a little shake, switching sides. So let's left hand out, fingers are flexed, pointing upwards, shoulders in the socket. Let's rotate counterclockwise, fingers are going to the left side now, pointing down. Give that pinky finger a small tug, ring finger, a gentle pull, middle finger, index. Just feeling that arm open up here, opening up our wrist. Let's rotate the hand clockwise now, thumbs pointing down, giving your thumb a nice pull. Gently release. Let's give those hands a shake. We're going to come onto all fours now. So knees below hips, hands and wrists below your shoulders. Gentle neutral spine to start. Tops of the feet are pushing into the mat. Core is engaged. I'm going to do a few cat and cows moving with our breath. So let's inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Lift your gaze upwards. Feel a gentle stretch in your spine, curving as we exhale, tucking the tailbone, pushing into the mat, tucking that chin in. Inhale, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, letting that belly drop. Exhale, curving that spine. Moving with your own breath. Feel free to add in any movements that might feel good for you today. We'd like to wiggle your hips. Maybe you can feel your breath again on your nostril, passing over your lip. Filling those lungs. From here, we'll come to a neutral tabletop position again. And let's step that right foot forward. We're going to come into a low lunge here. We'll rise up and really see, maybe grab a hold of your hips, check that they're squared towards the front of your mat. Really sink into that left hip flexor, opening that up. From here, we'll sweep our hands up and overhead, and then we're going to open them into cactus arms. We've got them teed off at the side. See if you can open up that chest while we're here. Maybe you can lift your gaze. And then we're going to fold forward over that front leg. So let's straighten that right leg. So we come forward, folding over it. Inhale, rise up, cactus arms from low lunge. And then let's exhale, folding forward over that leg again. Inhale, rising up, cactus arms. Exhale again, folding over that front right leg. And as we'll rise up, let's move that right leg back down. Tabletop position. And then we'll switch sides. So bring that left leg forward. Low lunge, again, maybe squaring our hips. Leaning, opening that right hip flexor. So we sink into that pose. Arms come up and overhead, and then we open to cactus. Breathing here. Let's exhale, fold forward over that left leg. Inhale, rise up, opening to cactus arms. We have just come into a new moon cycle. New moons are a good time, folding forward over that front left leg, to be open to new possibilities as we open up our shoulders, coming into low lunge cactus one more time. Opening our shoulders, our chest, our hips. In our practice today, maybe we're opening ourselves to new possibilities, folding forward over that front left leg. New opportunities. Let's come back into a tabletop position. making room for something new in our life as we are becoming more flexible, more open, maybe more patient and forgiving. Let's tuck those toes. We're going to come into a downward facing dog. So fingers are spread wide, index fingers pointing forward. Let's lift the tailbone. Pushing into the fingers, so your hands, walking our legs out here. Our first downward dog of the day. Move as you feel your body needs. We bend those knees, pushing our belly into our thighs, then we straighten those legs again. Let's take a big inhale. Big sigh as we exhale. One more time, inhale. Big sigh as we exhale. Looking forward between our hands, let's step our right foot forward, our left foot to meet our right. Forward fold. Very slowly rising up. Let's bring our hands to our heart center. Pushing equally into the left and right hand. Maybe playing with that as we are here, checking the equal pressure. Noticing how your fingers feel pressed against each other. Your shoulders are relaxed. Releasing your hands. Let's bring them down by our sides and sweep them up and overhead, lifting our gaze as we come. Let's open into cactus arms while we're here. Gentle back arch as we're looking up. Inhale, and then a big sigh again as we exhale. Let's inhale those arms up and overhead, and we're going to shoot our left leg back into a high lunge from here. So arms are overhead. Those left toes are really gripping into the mat. Nice strong left leg, high lunge. From here again, let's open to cactus arms, and the exhale. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale into cactus arms, really opening that chest here if you can, pulling those arms back, lifting your gaze gently. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Legs are still strong, you've got this. Exhale into cactus arms. Inhale those arms up and overhead, and let's step that left foot forward to meet the right. Bring our hands down by our sides and giving everything a little bit of a shake. Switching sides, let's shoot that right leg back this time, sweeping arms up and overhead, high lunge. Your hips are squared to the front of the room. Shoulders are away from our ears. Let's exhale to cactus arms. Inhale, our arms up and overhead. Maybe we're lifting our gaze here. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Nice, strong right leg there. Quad is engaged. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, let's step to the front of the mat. Right foot meets left, giving everything a little bit of a shake. We're going to inhale in our arms up and overhead, coming into warrior one. So let's shoot that left leg back. It's on a 45-degree angle. Not quite as far back as we would go for a lunge or for warrior two. Bending that front right knee, checking your alignment. Your heels should be in line with one another. Shoulders away from the ears. Let's bring our hands to our lower spine, fingers pointing down. Inhale, lift that chest. Exhale, arms overhead. See if you can sink a little bit deeper. Inhale, the hands to the lower spine, lifting that chest, pulling those shoulders blades back. Exhale, arms overhead. Inhale, hands lower spine, looking up. Exhale, arms overhead. From here, we're going to sweep our arms down, placing them either side of our right foot, coming into our first plank pose for today. So fingers are spread wide, core is engaged. We're going to take a vinyasa, but you can start with lowering your knees, tucking the elbows, lowering your chest and your chin. Maybe you'd like to come into a baby cobra. We've got the tops of the feet pushed in the mat. Hands are below our chest, gently stretching that mat forward. Small curve in that spine. Exhale, lower down. And push back. Downward facing dog. Looking forward between our hands, let's step the left foot forward, the right to meet the left, and forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Let's bring our hands to our heart center. From here, switching sides, we're going to shoot that right leg back for warrior one. Checking your alignment, and we'll sweep those arms up and overhead. Shoulders away from the ears again. All right, next exhale. Bring your hands to our lower spine, fingertips pointing down. Gentle curve in that spine as we lift our chest. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to lower spine. Inhale, arms overhead. Really sinking into that pose. Exhale, hands to lower spine. Inhale, arms overhead. As we exhale, we'll place them either side of that left foot, stepping both our feet back for a high plank. From here, you can take a vinyasa, or we'll meet in downward facing dog. Taking a moment to breathe here. Maybe we'll shake our head no, moving it left and right, making sure that we're not holding any tension in our neck. Then let's look forward between our hands, step your right foot forward, your left to meet your right, forward fold. Inhale, rising up slowly. Bringing our hands to our heart center. From here, we're going to shoot that left leg back, coming into warrior two. So let's shoot that left leg back, 90-degree angle. Check your alignment, your right heel is in line with the instep of your left foot. Bending that front right knee. Look down, make sure you can still see that big toe, your knee's not sinking inwards, and we can open our arms. Ideally, your spine is straight here, not leaning too far forwards or back. Arms pulling equally. Maybe we can flip our hands, rotate them back down. That helps to pull our shoulders away from our ears. Got a gentle gaze out over our right fingertips. Breathing here. Notice where you feel your breath. Is it becoming more labored as we hold some of these poses? Check that it's flowing through your nose, down your throat, into your spine. You can feel your diaphragm. We're not shortening our breath. Let's go ahead and straighten that front right leg. We're coming to triangle pose. Shimmy that left hip out towards the back. Sweep the right hand down towards the inside of your right leg. Left hand comes up towards the ceiling. Looking out to the side or possibly up towards the ceiling. Imagine that you're being pressed between two planes of glass. You're trying to open that chest as we're here. Exhale, let's rise up to warrior two. Moving with our breath, straighten that front leg down to triangle pose again. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, warrior two. Let's windmill those hands either side of your right foot. Step back to a high plank. Either take a vinyasa or meet us in downward facing dog. I always like a nice big exhale when I get to downward facing dog. Looking forward between your hands, let's step the left foot forward, the right to meet the left, forward fold, rising up slowly. Let's bring our hands to our heart center. From here, we're going to shoot that right leg back. I'm going to switch sides here into warrior two. So left toes are pointing forward, right are on a 90-degree angle. Checking our alignment. Windmill those arms open. Really settling into the pose, feeling your hips open. Arms stretching wide towards the front and back of your mat. Let's straighten that front left leg. Shimmy the right hip out towards the back of your mat, sweeping the left arm down for triangle. Maybe using that calf as leverage. Breathing here. Noticing if you're holding your breath, trying to keep it flowing. Let's rise up, warrior two. Triangle pose. Let's move with our breath a little bit here. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, warrior two. Can't remember how many we've done here. Let's do one more triangle. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, warrior two. Let's windmill our hands either side of your front foot. I'm switching sides, stepping back into a high plank. Take a vinyasa or meet in downward facing dog. Looking forward between your hands, let's step that left foot forward, the right to meet the left, forward fold, inhale, rising up. Let's bring our palms to our heart center. From here, we're going to come into warrior three. So let's really gripping into the mat with those right toes, balancing on that right foot. Take that left foot, shoot it out behind us. Maybe placing your hands on your hips to check that they're square towards the mat. Back foot is flexed. We're pushing into an imaginary wall behind us. Or if you'd like and you've got space, you can move into an actual wall, helping you work on the sky. Sorry, I keep moving my balance as I look around. If you've got a real wall, good to work on that pose while we're here. When you're ready, arms can float out towards your side. Focus on gripping those right toes into the mat, finding a point that you can look at that's not moving, seeing if we can keep our balance here. From right here, we're going to start to rise up and come straight into tree pose. So either placing that left bottom of your sole into the right calf or right inner thigh. Taking a moment here, maybe your arms will rise up, maybe you'll keep them in prayer pose. Standing nice and tall, still really gripping in with those right toes. Coming back to warrior three or airplane. Inhale, rise up, tree pose. See if we can keep our balance, but let's be playful about it. If you fall out or need to tap your foot to the mat, that's all right. Warrior three again, foot's flexed, reaching out long behind us. Rise up, tree pose. Last warrior three, shoot that left foot out behind us. Leg is nice and strong, you've got this. Inhale, rise up for tree. Release that left foot down to the mat, and we'll give them a bit of a shake here. Hands to prayer, standing nice and tall. We're going to shoot that right leg back. Warrior three. Foot's flexed, hips are squared, arms are reaching out to the sides. Finding your focal point, your drishti. Something not moving to help you keep your balance while you're here. Opening those arms wide. Let's rise up for tree pose. Again, arms wherever you'd like them. Sole of your foot either to your inner thigh or your calf. Breathing as we stand nice and tall here, feeling that breath moving our nostril, our throat. Let's come back. Warrior three. Rise up on your inhale. Tree pose, finding that balance. Exhale, warrior three. Maybe we're smiling here. Inhale as we rise up for tree pose. Exhale, warrior three. Inhale as we rise up for tree. Again, I've lost count. I'm sorry. We're going one more time. Back for warrior three. Last time as we rise up, tree pose. Release that right leg, giving them a bit of a shake. Then we're going to inhale those arms up nice and long overhead, slight arch in that spine. Exhale as we fold forward. We're taking a vinyasa here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place those hands down on the mat. Step back to a high plank. From here, you can head straight to downward facing dog or take that vinyasa. From here, I'd like you to lower your knees down to the mat. We're going to come into child's pose. Let's keep those knees together. Untuck the toes. Sit those sit bones back on your heels. Lower your forehead down. And while we're here, let's see if you can bring your hands into prayer pose over your neck. This might be a bit tight. Maybe you'd like to rest your hands on the back of your head. But if you're able, hands into prayer behind your neck. Child's pose, our resting place. A moment to catch our breath if we need to. Slow down our heart. Noticing that breath again. Maybe while we're here in child's pose, it's not your diaphragm that you can feel expanding, but you might feel like your back. Your lungs are pressing into your back. Not pressing into your back, but as you inhale, you can feel your back expanding here with less room on the front side of your body. Maybe you can feel your spine having a gentle stretch as you inhale. Your vertebrae separate gently. Let's release those hands if you've got them there. Bringing them back down to the mat. Fingertips are spread wide. Coming into a tabletop pose for a moment here. We're going to come into a plank, but on our elbows. So let's go ahead and place those forearms down onto the mat. Fingertips are spread wide. Send those legs back one at a time. Plank pose. So your core is engaged, really pushing into those elbows. Holding here for a moment. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dip down to the right side. So dropping that right hip down towards the mat. Rolling back to the center. Let's drop that left hip down towards the mat. Coming back to center. Rolling that right hip down towards the mat. Back to center. Left hip towards the mat. Coming back to center. One more time. We're almost there. Right hip, center, left hip, center. From here, we're almost done. Let's lift that right foot. Tap it towards the right knee towards left elbow. Back down to center. Left knee to right elbow, back down to center, Right knee to left elbow, back down to center. You've got this. Left knee, right elbow, back to center. Right knee, left elbow, left knee, right elbow. Lowering slowly down to the mat for a Sphinx pose. So arms are going to stay, forearms pressed into the mat, fingertips are spread wide. Small curve in our spine, tops of the feet are in the mat, glutes are engaged. Let's take an inhale and then exhale for lion's breath, tongue out. One more time. Big inhale. Exhale, tongue out. Releasing everything there. When you're ready, we're going to push back into downward facing dog. So pushing up onto our knees, fingertips are spread wide. Tuck those toes. Downward facing dog. Looking forward between your hands, let's step the right foot forward, left to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, rising up, bringing the hands to the heart center. From here, we're going to step out as wider than the mat, feet on a 45-degree angle, lowering into a squat as we open our arms for cactus. Imagine you're sitting on a ledge here, a little bit like chair pose. Inhale, rise up, hands come up overhead. Exhale, lowering back. Cactus arms. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, squat with cactus arms. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, squatting with cactus arms. Inhale, we rise up. Last time, let's step our feet together, bringing our hands down to our heart center. From here, we are going to come into warrior three again. So really gripping in with those right toes. Let's shoot that left leg up behind us. Foot's flexed, arms are floating out towards the sides. Warrior three. We're going to lower for warrior two. So let's lower that left foot, 90-degree angle. Windmill those arms open. Looking forward, making sure you can see the right big toe down there. Breathing. 2 more breaths here. From here, we're going to come into warrior one. So let's heel toe that left foot in a little bit. Twist. So we're facing forwards towards the front of the mat. Back foot's on a 45-degree angle. Might have to step it out just a little bit as we come into warrior one. Breathing here. From here, we're going to push off to a half moon. So let's shift our weight forward onto that right foot. Left leg comes out, back foot is flexed. Right hand is down to the mat. Catching your balance here. Left arm towards the ceiling. Don't watch my balance today. That's going to throw you right off. Half moon. We're going to let that left leg lower down nice and wide onto the mat. The left foot is facing forward. Right foot comes onto a 45-degree angle. We're going to bend that left knee, coming into a squat. That right foot is flexed up. Prayer hands. Breathing here. We place our hands down on the mat as we rise up into a forward fold, moving both feet to a 45-degree angle, letting your head hang here. See if you can walk those hands back a little bit, folding even deeper. As we rise up, let's place those hands on the hips, coming up very slowly. Not to get lightheaded, twisting towards the front of the mat. Place your hands either side of your right foot. Step back to a high plank, and we'll take a vinyasa, or just meet in downward facing dog. Looking forward between your hands, let's step that right foot forward, the left to meet the right and forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Let's bring our hands to prayer. Taking a moment here, pushing equally into those hands. Warrior 3 on the other side. So let's shoot that right leg back. Hips are squared, foot is flexed. When you're ready, arms float out to the side. Strong left standing leg. Work on strengthening that left ankle. Finding your focal point. One more breath here. And then exhale, let's lower to warrior 2. So that right foot comes down to the mat. Windmilling our arms open, checking your alignment. Noticing your breath here. As we're focusing on that breath, see if you can think about anything that you might be able to be more open to in this new moon cycle. Shifting into warrior 1, let's step that right foot in just a step, switching it to a 45-degree angle, sweeping our arms up and overhead. A different way of flowing today in this practice, opening us to new possibilities. As we're here, we can consider ways that we might be open to other things, other people, other ways of thinking. We're going to come into half moon again as we shift our weight forward onto that left foot, rising that right leg up. Left fingertips come down to the mat. Back foot's flexed. Right arm towards the ceiling as you move your gaze to the side. Almost there, last breath. Lowering that right leg down towards the mat. Here we go, I'm switching sides here so you can see me. Right leg is on a 90-degree, right foot's on a 9-degree angle. Left foot, 45-degree angle. We're gonna start to lower down towards that right side. So bending that right knee as we lower down, lifting those left toes up. Foot is flexed. Opening that inside of our left hip. One more breath here, you've got this. Then let's rise up, forward fold again. Both feet come to a 45-degree angle. Maybe you want to lift up halfway here. Let's see if we can really hinge at those hips and see if you can bend just a little bit deeper. Your head might come down towards the mat. Maybe we can walk our hands behind us a little bit further. Really opening up our hamstrings, the back of our legs. Last breath, we're very slowly going to start rising up, walking those hands forward. Maybe heel toe in slightly. We've got our hands on our hips, slowly rising up. Rotate those feet towards the front of the mat. Let's bring our hands either side of that front foot. Step back to a high plank, taking a vinyasa or meeting in downward facing dog. From here, we're going to come into a wide-legged child's pose. So let's bend those knees, lowering them as wide as the mat. Untuck those toes, pushing your sit bones back towards your heels. Lowering your forehead down towards the mat. Resting here, And let's walk those hands up towards the left side. See if you can place that right hand over on top of your left hand as we're here. Again, creating space on the right side of our body, opening up those ribs. One more breath here. Walking back to center. And then we'll come on over to the right side. Left fingertips on top of that right hand. Forehead is resting down to the mat if you can. Let's walk ourselves back to center. Taking a moment here. Forehead back down on the mat. Noticing that breath again. The top of our lip. Our lungs filling. Pressing those fingers into the mat, we're going to rise up again into downward facing dog. So let's tuck those toes, lift that tailbone, lifting those hips. From here, we're going to inhale that right leg nice and long, keeping it straight behind us. Then we're going to bring that right knee to our right wrist, coming into pigeon pose. So adjust yourself into a comfortable place for your body, wiggling that ankle forward or back. Hips are squared, not falling out to either side. Inhaling, we're nice and tall. And then exhale, we're going to start to fold forward, walking those hands down. You might be able to come down and bring your forehead to the mat. If not, maybe you'd like to create a stack with your hands, fists together, a place for your forehead to rest. While we're here, we are going to be here for a few moments. So find a place that you feel you can rest as much as possible. And while we're here, I wanted to read something to you so you can focus on that breath. Notice where you feel it. Maybe you can imagine sending some of that nice, fresh oxygenated blood down to that right hip, helping it expand. And what I wanted to read to you is from a book called Living Beautifully by Pema Chodron, and it's a chapter called Life Without the Storyline. And it says, when you practice staying present, one thing you'll quickly discover is how persistent the storyline is. Traditionally, in the Buddhist text, our tendencies with our habitual storylines are described as seeds in the unconscious. When the right causes and conditions come together, these pre-existing propensities pop up like flowers in springtime. It's helpful to contemplate that it's these propensities and not what triggers them that are the real cause of our suffering. And she suggests that maybe we can consider changing our storyline. It's not something that has to be written and not something that we have to stick to. The propensity to feel sorry for ourselves, the propensity to be jealous, the propensity to get angry, our habitual, all too familiar emotional responses are like seeds that we keep watering and nurturing. But every time we pause and stay present with the underlying energy, we stop reinforcing these propensities and begin to open ourselves to refreshingly new possibilities. Let's slowly start to rise up Pushing our hands into the mat, fingertips are spread wide. Let's tuck those left toes. Pushing back up into a three-legged dog. That right leg stretched nice and long. We'll lower it to the mat and downward facing dog. Those hips a little bit of a wiggle. We'll switch sides. Inhale that left leg nice and long behind us. Bringing that left knee to the left wrist. Left ankle starts to walk forward into a place that's comfortable for your body. Your hips are squared. We're inhaling nice and tall here. And then exhale, we slowly start to fold forward. Again, seeing if you can come to a place that's comfortable for your body to rest, for you to focus on your breath. Continuing this reading, it says, as you respond differently to an old habit, you may start to notice changes. In the past, when you got angry, it might have taken you 3 days to cool down. But if you keep interrupting the angry thoughts, you may get to the point which it takes only a day to drop the anger, eventually only hours, or even 1.5 minutes. You're starting to be liberated from your suffering. It's important to realize that interrupting thoughts isn't the same as repressing them. Repression is denial of what's happening, which only sends the thoughts underground where they can fester. At the same time, we don't want to keep chasing after the thoughts and getting hooked by them. Interrupting thoughts is somewhere between clinging to them and pushing them away. It's a way of allowing the thoughts to come and go, to arise and pass, to not be such a big deal. Maybe even while you're in this pose, you're waiting for it to be over. It's a deep hip opening. Excellent for helping us to release emotions, for helping us to widen our gait as we walk throughout our day, for allowing us to move forward more comfortably. But the discomfort, potentially as we sit here, something we might be trying to reach the end of. We can practice moving our thoughts, not holding on to the storyline that this is uncomfortable. Two more breaths while we're here. And then inhale, slowly start to rise up. Spreading those fingertips wide, tucking those right toes. Let's push back into a three-legged dog. Left leg is nice and long in there. That's excellent. Let's lower down. Downward facing dog. Looking forward between our hands. Let's step that right foot forward. Left to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale as we rise up, we're going to start to bend our knees, squat coming into a chair pose. Don't worry, we won't be holding it for too long today. Sitting on an imaginary ledge, look down so that you can see your toes. Maybe you can lift them off the mat. That's a good way to know that you are not leaning too far forward. Sitting back far enough. Exhale, forward fold. Letting that neck hang. Let's give it a shake now again. Inhale again, rising up. We're coming into chair pose one more time. Breathing here. See if you can sit just a little bit further. Quads are engaged. You've got this. 2 more breaths. As we start to lower down this time, we're going to come lowering down to the mat. From here, we are going to come into boat pose. So we're sitting nice and tall, knees are bent. Let's slowly start to rock ourselves back a little bit. Chest is reaching forward. Maybe just lift those feet off the mat today. This might be your pose. Maybe you'd like to lift your legs a little bit higher. As high as you go, just make sure that we're not curving your spine. Arms are reaching forward. Maybe those legs are shaking a little bit. Our arms embrace that. 2 more breaths here. Let's rise up from here. Give those legs a hug, sitting nice and tall. So from here, we're going to come into a seated wide leg forward fold. So sitting nice and tall, moving any fleshy bits if you need to. Our feet are spread wide into a V. Your V may be here. You may be able to come into quite a wide-legged. Feet are flexed. Inhale, nice and tall, and then exhale, we're going to fold forward. Might just be a little bit. You might place your hands on the floor in front of you. Inhale, lengthen that spine. Exhale, you might be able to walk those hands, a little bit further forward. Moving with your breath. Exhale, finding length, not curving our spine, leading with our chest and our chin. From here, let's walk on over to our right side just a little bit. Coming back to center. Out over that left leg. Inhaling with length, exhale, folding. Slowly rising up. Let's bring our legs together. Give them a bit of a shake. And then we're going to come back down onto our backs. Lying down, bend those knees, bring them in towards your chest, giving them a hug. We're going to come into happy baby. So let's bring those soles up towards the ceiling, opening those legs, sweep the arms through the center, grabbing a hold of the soles of your feet. One at a time, pushing into the left and the right foot. Letting ourselves rock back and forth playfully. You might take it even wider, massaging our spine with the mat at the same time. Let's bring our legs in together, giving them a hug. Let those legs drop out towards the right side. Knees stacked, or you might take the right foot hooking in on top of the left knee. Arms are teed out to the sides, breathing here. Release that right foot if you've got it hooked on to the left knee. Bring those legs in to center. Let's let them drop out to the left side. Maybe that left foot hooks on top of the right knee here, just to help deepen that twist as we look out over our right shoulder. Maybe your eyes are closed. You're focusing on starting to notice your breath, calming your mind. Releasing that left foot if it's hooked. Bring them back to center. Let's give ourselves one big last hug. And then let's shoot those legs out nice and long for Shavasana. Feet are about as wide as the mat. Falling out to the sides. Arms down by our sides, palms facing upwards. Feel yourself starting to melt into the mat. Feet are relaxed. Your knees, your hips. Your spine is sinking into the mat. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your forehead is relaxed. Maybe give that jaw a wiggle. It's relaxed. We'll slowly start to deepen our breath, wiggling our fingers and our toes. Maybe you'd like a big long stretch overhead. When you're ready, you can roll into your right side, keeping your eyes closed, coming into a seated position. Bring our hands to our heart center. Again, equally pushing our palms into each other. Noticing the energy flowing between those palms. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me to practice today. Namaste. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and I hope to see you again next week.